And now we will have the second part, considering problems that sometimes we have. And this is the model. When you have the division of two sides, and if I have distortion inside my regular side A, I will apply the dismissing procedure or the internal control against the A failure, which is linked with B, and the A small letter inside the internal control will finger this B, that now this B capital letter will finger the B small letter will finger the B capital letter as a regression. We are offering this model at the blog Risk Report 2021 trace december.blogspot.com. And we will check that this indeed will help us to get this situation here, which is if I have the distortion on present time at the COVID-19, considering for instance the Africa, did I had any distortion on the previous moment and the previous moment one more time, and the origin, and which is the causal relation to have all this systematically structured inside the financial system by transference of stimulus from public budget, which clusters all government and clusters all receivers by interface users of the bank and financial system, which are the variables that obtain this kind of advantage. Now we will check a model 2. First one, let's suppose that I have my new tracer. My new tracer will help us to understand that if I have the flow, I will have the same reversal flow. But if I have the flow and my reversal flow or my second procedure about the same thing will expose my failures, I will consider do not have the second procedure and declare the first one null. But by inference and considering other registry, circumstances, and elements evidenced and proven, we probably will have consequence by law. This law, if is, for instance, if you have an abusive procedure entirely made to in a very specific moment have this procedure declared null and put the guy victimized, I would say, or in a situation that will switch the perception of the reality. But during all this procedure, for instance, I have one guy here that committed a financial crime and steal money from the public budget, involving corporate all around the globe, in America, at the oil and the technology. And he got caught with the hands in the act, but you decided to have an abusive procedure, and in a very specific moment, this procedure will be declared null. But during this procedure, when this guy was presenting his defense arguments, paying a big money at the attorney, indeed he was doing a laundry scam. For instance, he had 50 millions diverted from public budget and had two petition or appeal considering one specific attorney to have the conversation with the judge, which is involved on it in the same way, by silence or by nepotism or by privilege or by the chair occupied by him on present time in the Supreme Court and the entire family at the judicial system. And in each petition he paid to this attorney 5 million, and he made 10 petitions. He had the integration and insertion of the entire diverted money using the procedural make decision procedure inside the system of justice, and the situation in the end was declared null by abuses But we must have in mind that if you had abuses, we will declare everything null. The money paid is a money as a wealthy state that has no origin. It's a fraud. You must request this international financial information by the White Collar Crime Law Brazil, considering the Article 1, which are the player, 14, fraud management at the financial system, 29, I think, and 24 with the silence of the prosecutors in the top level, and the cooperation of the offenders to offering the entire thing. I'm not the offender. If this got confirmed, they can have this benefit. Then you will check the integrated failure 74, 23, and 1 of the Brazilian Constitution, consider democratic institution, which implies the Congress, the government with periods to do their institutional criminal role, and the judicial chair that has a long life chair to keep and protect the criminal scams. Then we observe that the 23 item 1 is the distribution as geopolitical power in each level of our federation as federative organization. The other model that we had, the first one, was have an abusive procedure, have the insertion of least money storage of one player that is using the system of justice, commit abuse, declare everything null, and then you will consider that can ask a compensation or something like this. Of course, that this only happens at the Czech Republic, but it's a hypothetical situation. Then you will check that you have now your government, which can be the county, the city mayor, or whatever, it is transferring the money at the COVID-19, the money which has the treasury office. At the COVID-19, here we will have the situation as the people and the population that is receiving the social support during the COVID-19, and we will apply in a very specific list of players. And these players now indeed are part of the group or the electoral group that has interest in at the electoral procedure, election, to put one very peculiar guy here and keep the scam. This is a wealth cycle. We study this in economy, but it's a wealth cycle based on illicit purpose or situation. We have 50 million devoted here, transference $1 for 50 million citizens, that will apply $1 in each one of those groups. And let's suppose we have 5 groups, 1 up to 5. We have the division here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, as receiving the money. Let's suppose they are equally receivers. We have 10 millions for each one as income, but as I said, we have the relation debit and credit as account registry, and the relation income and outcome as investment budget. And then we will check now this situation here. 1, 2, 3, 4 as debitor, that must have a relation, debit and credit, lines and columns. In the same way, investment, income and outcome. It will be an income for this guy that will turn switching as an outcome, which is the transference for the election, for instance, as donation. Consider that you will occupy the main chair of your city, your federative unit as a state, or national state, to keep this kind of things. This kind of fraud must, be at the American election, Brazil, home, Paris. And we had the fintech crimes in the same way. Any question? suggested to request this information in law considering the comparative measurement of Greenwald case, which is about registry and communication, and the, for instance, a recent case declared null in Brazil with payments, big payments at the attorney. And if you declare this null, the payments are null in the same way. You know? Any question? Do we have any frequency, maybe, of variables or variable on it? Is this variable on it running the electoral procedure, which implies investment or specific segmentation at the public budget to have the campaign? 6 up to 20, I think. That is the American procedure. If American prison, 6 up to 20 if you are having the insertion using American companies or even doing IPOs on USA stock markets. Prevention of what you do to avoid that everybody became what you are. Have a nice day.